Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heal, Empower, and Thrive Session 3. My name is Cindy Frank, and we'll be going through this today. First, we're going to start off with the Julian affirmation for today. If you have it, you can join along, and we'll go ahead and start. God is my source
My
of all
source of all
supply
supply.
and
He
answers my
answers
every
my
need.
every.
Within me is a freedom I never knew, a boundless joy. My potential excels, and I rejoice in it. The wholeness within manifests without, and there's total balance within me and around me as I accept my rightful gifts of happiness and health and security. Thank you, Father. So be it.
So be it.
Well, welcome and thank you, everybody, for coming today or coming back, or if you're new, welcome. The first thing I want to hit is last week we had a question. Does it matter which hand you put where when you're healing? It really doesn't, except when it's indicated, such as with infections, your right hand pushes and your left hand receives. So if you're looking at anything like helping clear an infection, you want to push with your right hand and out with your left hand, because that's the right hand. I can't think of the word right now. But the right hand pushes it, the left hand is the receiver. Okay. Do you have any questions other than that? If you're doing the sunflower or something like that, the sunflower wouldn't matter because both your hands are up. But last week we did something with decongestant and we had hands up and down. We'll go over that again, hands side to side and hands front and back. It doesn't matter which way, which hand you're leading with, if you're right-handed or left-handed. Just remember that the right hand pushes, the left hand receives in whatever you're doing. And if you feel that it's right to change a hand position because you're doing something, some of this is by feel. You have to see what's in your heart. But otherwise, unless it's indicated, do this with your right hand and this with your left hand, it's fine, whatever way you do it. As long as you're building the energy and breaking the energy, and we're going to do that. So last week, okay, a couple of weeks ago, let's start with building the energy. Does anybody want to demonstrate how that works for you? Yep, I'll do it. It's not a problem. Remember, building the energy, you want to take your hands, clean them energetically, okay? And then you can either put them together, and I think this is how most people do it. I know in the book, Julian said you can also do hand over hand. I always do it putting them together and just take a minute to feel if anything's coming through, what's coming through, whether you feel anything or not, it's there. It's energy. And we're all made up of energy. Everything. Okay. I feel my tingly feeling like I usually do. So if you're going to heal with this, and we talked about parallel healing, right? And that's just your hands parallel to any part of your body or somebody else's body, like on your leg. I can't put my leg up there. On your leg on each side, or on your neck on each side, or wherever, on your shoulder on each side. Sometimes it's good to have a helper because it's a little hard to reach, but that's parallel healing. Okay.
I've got a question. If
Yeah.
somebody's having a heart problem, can you even do that like in the front of the heart and the back of the heart?
Parallel healing, yes. You could do direct, you could do front and back. And what that does is that builds a vortex of energy. Let's go over, I want to talk about the vortex a little bit more. Let's go over, last week we did the decongestant plus, and I just want to go over that real quickly so that we remember how to do it. And if you weren't here, we'll get a little update on it. So decongestant plus is for head colds, for allergies, anything like that. It's a good idea to have Kleenex ready. We're not going to hold it for the full minute on each position, so you might not need them. But just in case, when you're doing it at home or for someone or having someone help you, have your Kleenex ready because this thing really works. Okay, so you break the energy, build the energy, right? Good. And then we're going to go on each side of the head. Okay. And what you're doing is you're lining up the palms of your hands with your forehead. Okay. You just want to make sure that that's where they are. And you hold that for a minute, at least a minute. And then you break the energy and you build the energy. And we're going to move to the front and back. Okay, and you want to make sure that your palm is over the bridge of your nose and that your hand in your back is about the same place. You line them up. Okay, and then you hold that for at least a minute and then break the energy and build the energy. Okay, and then the last one is up and down.
Yeah.
And then you hold that for at least a minute. Okay, you're just going over the crown of your head. All right. And then you break the energy. Now, if you're doing this for a child or a pet, or if you have allergies, it's a good thing to diffuse the energy a little bit, not to putting hand on hand, but to spread your fingers out and float the energy in. So instead of just holding, you're going to float it in. And that's because if you have allergies, sometimes your sinuses are irritated, could be inflamed, and you want a gentler energy to go in there. So it's the same thing. You hold it, you just float it in for a minute or more, front and back. Float it in. It's like rubbing your stomach and patting your head at the same time. I'm not good at this. And then the same thing. And of course, you break the energy and build the energy. And then the same thing front and back. Okay? You're going to be very popular as cold and flu season comes about. Isn't that nice to know, though, that you have something that you can do just whenever you need it? You might not have to take any kind of medications and still take care of yourself and your family. I really like that idea. Okay. So that's what I wanted to tell you about the vortex. When you're doing the decongestant exercise, you're sending parallel energy on all sides of your head so that it's an energy that enters from all directions. And the energies come from each side, meet in the middle, form a vortex, and expand. So that's what you're doing. It's the energy is concentrating, meeting in the middle in a vortex and expanding. Don't ask me what the energy does when it expands. It does its thing. Okay? Any questions? All right, you guys are awesome. If you do, please don't hesitate. Raise your hand, put it in the chat. If you don't want to say something, that's fine.
So I have a quick question. It probably relates to what Camille was referring. She had an individual with a heart situation. I have a longtime friend that I help every week, disabled. They're in fifth stage cancer, and now has an inoperable lung. When I began doing the work with her a number of weeks ago, of course, she asked, "What is this?" And I kind of looked around with a smirk and a smile, and I said, "Magic." Otherwise known as by many names, healing touch. But what I want to do is, if I can, focus a little bit more. And given her lung situation, would that be similar to Camille's situation with the heart, putting one in the front, one in the back? I mean, any other ideas for that.
What is her lung situation?
She has an inoperable lung.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
she is on oxygen 24/7, but now they're not able to put a stent inside to remove whatever's in there. It's not opened enough, so it is inoperable right now.
Okay. Is that cancer?
Yeah, well, yes, cancer related. I mean,
Okay.
the systems are failing, let's say.
I see. Okay.
I look at my intent is just to bring light and peace and comfort and whatever divine spirit needs. I'm
You
not
know,
there,
you know what I would do then, because you're not trying to heal something.
No,
You're giving comfort.
yes.
So I wasn't planning on doing this today, but let's learn this. It's called the pyramid. Okay. And it's a really good way to send energy to people, loving energy, kindness, healing, just from one point. Okay. So what you do when you're doing the pyramid is you of course break the energy, build the energy. And then you put your hands, you make a cup with your hands. Okay. And then make sure the person is sitting down, because this can lower your blood pressure by several points. But you just put your hands over your head or over their head, and you visualize the energy coming in, and you can visualize colors. You can visualize white clearing light coming in, flooding the body with peace and kindness and love. I just want to stay here for one. This feels pretty good. And then we can just go ahead when you're done and break the energy. And that delivers a lot of energy to people. When Adele was teaching me, she used to work in, she's a nurse, and she worked in a drug rehab place. And she's did that to big guys, took them right down. They had to sit down right away. It's just, it delivers a lot of energy. And the energy goes wherever you're directing it.
A couple comments. One, I really appreciate hearing that because it is validating to what I found myself doing. I mean, I remember the teachings and the things from long, long, long ago, and I just follow intuition with what I'm doing. The person is seated. The person is quite large because of the medical and the inflammation or what have you. And she's always that in it really. And then what I visualize is the color I see is golden.
Yep. Just whatever comes to you, whatever. I mean, you could do green healing light, go with the chakras, however that it speaks to you. But that's a really good way to send energy to someone.
And if I may, what really comes to me with her is, this of course is her unique journey.
Mhm.
Who am I to want to fix and heal anything? But if I can give comfort and if I can open up the channel
Sure.
to help her own healing or comfort or light come in, I know that her spirit
Exactly.
know what to do with it.
Exactly. And
And
we're
that's
not here to
what I'm
change anybody's path, of course.
Mhm.
But we're certainly here to help each other on the way. And I think this is a
Right.
great way to do it. Okay.
Thank you.
So let's
Yeah.
get, was there something else? Somebody else?
Yeah, I want to add to that.
Sure.
Usually when I'm in a situation like that, I address the healing energy to the soul of the person, their higher self, and direct the energy towards that. As you feel fit, pass it through in
Whatever is right and best.
configuration
Exactly.
is best.
Yeah.
So also, for instance, I usually ask permission, but
Mhm.
if I'm not able to ask permission because they're not conscious or too far away and I don't have a means of communicating,
Mhm.
I always address it to their soul to pass it on.
I've always felt that too. I mean, with hands-on healing, you
Mm.
really can't do that because you need to be there with the person. But for something where you're sending energy, I think that's a great thing that we can all do. And we can just ask the higher self from high self to high self, if you would like to accept this for yourself for this person, then
Mhm.
I would like to give it, accept it if it's the best thing for this person. Highest
Yeah.
and greatest good, right? I love that phrase. Thank you. That was very nice.
So I wanted to jump in on it too.
Okay.
Julian told me one day that I should consider myself as a delivery truck. And I am delivering to the higher self of the other person, and they'll figure out what to do with the shipment.
I like it.
I've always liked that.
Let God figure it out. Just send it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to use that one. Okay. Good discussion. Thank you, everybody. What we're going to do today is talk a little bit about proxy healing. Julian said healing energy is universal energy. All healing energy comes from one source and is the same energy. It is love. There are many, many ways to deliver love. I love that. So one of the ways we're going to talk about sending healing, okay? We can either do it in person or we can send it. Proxy healing, a proxy sits in a chair. It's somebody who's filling in for the person who you're sending healing energy to. Ask them to focus on the person who needs healing, or you can even have a picture of that person. Focus on the name or the image of the person who needs the healing. And a name is a very powerful thing. You pick up from the healing recipient through their name, their picture, etc. Whatever you need to know. Of course, if you know the person, and you probably would, if you're sending proxy healing to them, you would know what you're sending the healing for. You can use the proxy and do your parallel healing or direct healing. You can send it through the proxy, any kind of healing that you would do on anyone else. Okay, you just have to have in mind what the person looks like, or at least their name. And you're both focusing on that person as you're delivering the healing. And of course, as usual, you start with your clean hands, you build the energy, you direct the healing, and then you break the energy, or however you do it. You can get really fancy like the football players do and do a little dance at the end zone. I don't know. And then very similarly, you can do mind to mind or distance healing where you wouldn't even use a proxy. You picture the person to be healed and you picture them surrounded, enveloped in white light, healing light. You build the energy and send it to that person. What I like to do, I've done this quite a few times and it's been pretty successful. I put on like some music on YouTube, you know, or the healing music or something like that. And I just get into a meditative state and I sit there and I think about the person and I'll do the whatever kind of healing that we're directing. It's really simple. It's just having your mind on that person that you're sending the energy to. Our minds are great tools. When the intention is filled with love and caring for another person, healing energy can be very effective. It's just making sure that you're in that state of love.
Most important.
Okay? Any questions? You guys are awesome. Let's see where we are at time. Okay, so last week we discussed that you can't get depleted from healing. It comes through you, not from you. That's true. But there are other ways that people can try to take your energy. Have you ever been in a meeting at work and it's like ridiculous and people are just getting crazy and you just want to stay out of it? Or maybe you've been to a family dinner or reunion and you just need to protect yourself somehow. Things are getting a little intense. It's a real easy way to do that. Nobody even has to know. Okay, so sometimes people leave us feeling drained. They might be trying to fend off an illness and they're just, or maybe they're just energy vampires. There are some people like that, but it could be just illness or trauma and they're trying to get something. They're trying to get some energy. We're all healers. We're all in this spiritual community and we shine brightly. Our energy just is out there like a beacon. You feel that, right? Every person in the grocery store can come up to you. You just feel like you're approachable. And when people are needing energy, sometimes they're going to try to get it from you. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter why. It's just a fact of life. Those things happen. What you can do is, wait a minute, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Energy moves from a greater area to a lesser area. And this is known as the process of osmosis. Unconsciously, some people could be trying to get the extra energy they need from you. All right. Like I said, we shine bright. So what you can do is this. All right. Just bring your fingers and put them down by your abdomen. Okay. So if you're in a meeting or you're sitting at a table or something, you can do this and just relax and nobody has to know and nobody's going to take your energy. If you're in an area where that isn't possible, put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Uh-huh. You can say, fine. Okay. When we channel energy during healing, we use energy from the 3 upper chakras, the brow chakra, the throat chakra, and the heart chakra. Energy from these chakras is from the universe and it's unlimited. You'll never be depleted by sending energy that way. However, you will be depleted if the energy comes from the 3 lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. Those are your personal areas and they're needed by you. So when we put the little thing, the hands together, the fingers together and put them in our abdomen, by our abdomen, that's saying we're protecting that area. We're protecting from the solar plexus, the chakra, and the root chakra. Those are our personal areas. So if you feel like you're getting a little bit stretched or stressed, or you notice that somebody's really kind of depleting your energy, go ahead and do that, or put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. I'm just being on roofs today. Okay, and you can say, I will send all the healing energy from the upper chakras to help you, but you may not have the energy from my personal chakras. And you can say that in your head, in your heart. When you consciously protect your personal energy in this way over a period of time, you learn to send energy from the unlimited universal source and not from you. It just starts to happen naturally. But if you're not sure or something's really bad, you can always go back to protecting yourself anytime. Before healing, it's a good idea to affirm that the white light of protection is around me. I will receive nothing negative as I'm working as a divine channel. You don't have to say those words exactly, obviously. Do something that's meaningful for you. Say something that is meaningful. Whatever is right and perfect for me or for them if you're helping someone else. And another little, this isn't in here, but another little phrase that Camille taught me, I think. She sent it in one of the affirmations that I really like. I put it on the end of everything. If I have to feel it to help, I will, but only if that's my purpose. And I think for today's day and age, it's like I'm going to have it tattooed on myself or embroidered on a pillow. If I have to feel it to help, I will, but only if that's my purpose. Okay. Wanting to help someone is a positive emotion, but just be aware that sympathy can be negative. Like, I feel terrible because you feel terrible. That's sympathy. When something gets out of balance, it could become a negative factor. So when you're healing or in everyday life, you can't get too involved when someone else is not feeling well. You have to keep a professional kind of distance almost. We want to help, but we can't be sucked in and feel awful. Mm-hmm. A lot of us are empaths, and that can be tricky. But it's just a good thing to keep in mind and to practice. And to remember to protect your energy. If you're healing and you want to make sure that you're protecting your energy, that it's only coming from the upper 3 chakras, you can put your tongue on the roof of your mouth while you're doing that. Just until it gets to be better. Okay. Any questions? All right. We're going to do one more thing today, and it's called unruffling. Last week, someone mentioned something because we talked about taking the energy or taking when you're done healing, you can take it and throw it away. Where's I going with that? So this is and how that differed from something else that she had learned, where you kept the energy inside. Today we're going to talk about unruffling. And unruffling is where we do toss bad energy and you're putting in good energy. And you can do this to yourself, to anyone else, if they give you permission, to children, pets. It's just a really nice thing. I like to do it sometimes before bed. So unruffling is used for generalized healing and can also be very relaxing. It's great if you've been learning a lot of new things. You can kind of give yourself a little reset. If you've been concentrating hard, or even if you have a headache. Make sure you're sitting or lying down before unruffling. If you're standing, only unruffle from the neck down, so you don't move the energy from the head while you're standing or while someone else is standing. Okay, so you should be sitting down or lying down or standing just from the neck. Okay. So unruffling is done with your hands just a few inches from the body. Hold the hands out in the parallel position. One hand on each side of the body. And I'm sitting down, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with my head. And you do 3 passes over the top front, top sides, and top back. All right. Sweep your hands over the body. So you just go down like you're smoothing sheets. You go down, and then I'm not going to go all the way down. You go down your body, and then you flip it out. Flipping the bad energy out. So start at the top, smooth it down, and flip it out. And then you can go to the back of yourself as best you can, the front of yourself, and you want to do 3 passes on each side of the body. It's great for getting restless children to go to sleep or a restless adult.
Cindi?
Yeah.
That when Dick was really, really sick, and he would be in almost like an semi-unconscious state, but really kind of really moving around in pain. He was writhing in pain. And I did that. It's going to bring tears to my eyes. You could see him calm down. It was a real physiological thing because he wasn't fully conscious. He didn't know what I was doing, but you could see him relax. It was a miracle.
It's amazing, isn't it? It really is. My son, who doesn't believe in any of this hocus pocus. He gets bad migraine, and I was doing I know, right? I was doing energy for him when he had a migraine. And I had him lying down, and I went ahead and I just unruffled everything at the end of the treatment. And I'm a Reiki master teacher, so I did a little Reiki symbol on the bottom of his feet. And he's laying down on the other end of the couch, and his eyes are shut. And he said, "What are you doing to my feet?" I said, "How can you feel anything? I'm not even touching your feet." He says, "I don't know, but I know if you're making circles." I'm like, yeah. Mr. No Hocus Pocus. And to say this can really work. And that's an amazing story about Dick. If you knew Camille's husband, he's a really big guy. You know, it's and this energy can just help everybody.
Cindi, would you mind just going through the motions of the unruffling one more time for me?
Sure. Just up at your head, and I'm not going to go all the way down, obviously, so you can see. And you just smooth down like you're smoothing a bed sheet. Flip it out at the bottom. Flip. Just all the way down the body. Flip out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And then you're using white light to do that, so it's transforming the gook and you're not littering?
You're looking, yeah. Yes, you're not littering because everything goes and is vaporized. Julian
Okay.
actually said that when you swoop it out, you're swooping bad energy into a trash can that gets vaporized by the universe. Same as if you're pulling energy, like if there's an infection or something and you're pulling things out, toss it away. You know, when you're doing parallel energy or direct energy, you do that. And when you break the energy, that's what you're doing. You're tossing the bad stuff away.
But it's important to know where you're tossing it to, I think.
Well, yeah, I just feel that wherever I go, it gets vaporized by the universe. That's taken care of.
Okay.
But if you like to, I mean, certainly you wouldn't throw it back at the person or at yourself. But if you like to put that image in your head of a big trash can, absolutely. If that helps you make sure that you know it's cleared, then do that.
Yeah, the reason I would want to be real specific for myself is that I was in a Barbara Brennan class where she was very clairvoyant, and she was saying, well, the stuff that so and so took out of so and so, they threw over that way, and it's now in her.
Don't want that to happen.
Don't want that.
Picture that vaporizer. That will take care of all of that.
I picture a vacuum cleaner, a universal vacuum cleaner that goes back to the source, that sucks out anything that's going. But another thing that I think of is that this is free energy now. It has no charge. So anything that I've released or that is released or that I've released from inside myself, I say it's free now, which means that it has no, it's just energy now. It's not
It has
positive or
no
negative.
bad connotations to it.
It's just energy.
I like that. Very
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to add, this is something I've used to be doing a lot mentally before I start the hands-on healing with a client. I usually first hover above the head mentally before my just after my personal preparations of starting, give some energy towards the head, and then the mental stroke down and whip off the full body, back and front and sides, and then I'll start the healing. And usually by that time, when I then engage into the healing, you already see that sometimes they're already asleep. And most of the stress is already out. When they're full of questions, the questions are gone. They don't know them anymore. And they can just are open to receive and to transform.
That's really great. That's amazing. In Reiki, we always did that too. We started at the top of the head and kind of feel for the energy. What's that person feel like? It's like we're shaking hands energetically.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also a Reiki master
That's probably
and
where.
have had Egyptian healing 3 grades. So
Oh, that's interesting.
I
yeah,
have,
well, it's just earlier rediscovered energy healing than the Reiki version, but they just limited it to 3 uh, teachers that were able to pass it on, and that's
Wow.
how that connection started. And um, yeah, well, Reiki is just exactly the same, just from a different culture, but exactly the same energy.
There are a lot. Well, the energy is love, and so that's
Yeah.
that's all it. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's a lot. But yeah, different modalities, different little bit. A lot of the things in Julian healing, if you get into that more, are contact points, and that is very reminiscent of pressure points, and things like that. It's not exactly that, but it's kind of close. Okay, so this week we went through a lot. We went over what we've done in the past. We did protecting your energy. We did sending energy, right? What kinds of sending energy is there? There's proxy healing, and there's distance healing, and then there's protecting our energy. Which chakras are ours, our personal ones? Do you remember?
The lower 3.
The lower 3 chakras are our personal ones. That's where you can't take that. That's not for you. That's for me. And then the next 3 upper chakras are the ones that are just universal. We never run out of energy. Okay.
so I have a question, Cindy. Has Julian ever addressed another modality with the hands, this position over the lower chakras? Has
I
that
haven't
ever come
seen
up?
that.
Okay.
I've seen something that will go up the back where we go like that, kind
Okay.
of like itsy bitsy spider, but not anything just like that. Julian did a lot. I met Julian through the recordings. I never met him in person,
Mhm.
but I
Yeah,
swear
I,
it's like I know
I,
him.
I can talk to that one, may I? So
Sure.
this particular one, you do it here is actually part of the TCM Qigong healing.
That.
So I know exactly what you're talking about because I
Oh,
do that. I do a few different modality of healing. So not only this, your other fingers need to be
Yes.
like curl
Yes.
it.
Yes.
You put
Yes.
it in this position like so.
Yes. 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 That's exactly it. Thank you for bringing that up, Shirley. I find, okay, when Cindy was discussing the protection using this in the hands, my default has been what you were demonstrating. And yes, it's this and this. I do this automatically, particularly in work situations. There's an incredible power game going on, and I desire to stay in my center. I can feel that these individuals are trying to pull my energy, but this is automatically, I find myself going into this position, and that's an acceptable position in a professional situation. Nobody's going to question that, as
exactly.
much. And I find that it really brings great comfort and centeredness. I
And
appreciate,
it,
Cindy, the idea of putting the tongue up above on the roof of the mouth, because that again, in a situation where you don't want them to question your
right,
body language,
right.
that's a huge save right there.
Sure. And the same thing with, doing like the way that we just learned, or doing too, it's just, you know, if you're sitting at a table at work or something, your hands are at your abdomen and they're under the table and nobody's going to see. But there are so many ways to deliver energy. Isn't that what Julian just said? And the most important thing is to do it with love. So we're going to stop for today. Unless anybody else has any questions, I will be here next week. I know that's Easter. We're going to do just a short one on Easter. I think we're going to go over everything again and maybe do a fun little exercise.
I have a small question about the 4 personal ones. It was said the 3 ones or the 4. The 4 ones are your personal, and the other 3 are the universal, no? And not the 3.
Your 3 of the 3 top chakras, and they didn't include the crown.
Not the crown.
Right. And I don't know why that wasn't included. Maybe that just, I think that's for other things. But the 3 chakras on top are the first 3 chakras on the top are universal energy. That can go out to everybody. That is unlimited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you going to close with an affirmation, Cindi?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Thank you. All right, it's a short one. Ending affirmation. Where the thought is where the energy is. Where the energy is where the manifestation is. So be it. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week.
This is where the energy is, where the energy is where the manifestation is. Thank you.
Isn't that true? It's simple, and I like it. Okay, thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm having a
Bye-bye.
blast.
Thank you.